Hi BookTube, it's Gina. Happy Friday. Yay, we made it through the week. How are you? Did you have a good week? Let me know. Let me know your plans for the weekend. I plan on reading this weekend. I plan on spending some time with my family. And I am going to be driving up to my dad's house, so I will be listening to an audiobook, and I will update you on how that's going in a minute, because what I want to talk about today is my March reads and what things I finished in March. As you know, I've been driving a lot up to my dad's house to take him to doctor's appointments and things. And it has been a perfect opportunity to start listening to some audiobooks again. I used to listen to audiobooks a ton when I was commuting to work, like 45 minutes each way. That was back in 2012. And since I stopped working in an office, I have not really listened to audiobooks. I don't listen to them at home. I never quite figured out how to incorporate them. If I'm going to be reading at home, I'd rather just be reading with my eyeballs. But since I've been in my car a lot these last couple months, I thought, this is a great time to listen to some audiobooks. So I did. I listened to 5 audiobooks in March, which was absolutely wonderful. So let's talk about the audiobooks that I read. It was actually a really interesting experience too, because I did read one audiobook. So this one, Winter Solstice by Rosamunde Pilcher. All 5 of the audiobooks that I listened to were rereads. I've read them all before. This, as you all know, is one of my favorite books. And this was actually a really interesting listening experience. It wasn't 100% successful. And it was good. It was fine. I liked the narrator's voice. It was pleasant. But one thing I noticed with this book that I had not really noticed before in the other books that I had read, that I'd listened to, is that something about the narrator in this one wasn't right for me. So, for instance, she was narrating, a sad part in the book, and I always felt like her voice had a little bit of a smile in it. And she's narrating these sad parts, and it felt like she was gonna kind of chuckle at the end of the sentences. And then I also noticed that the things that she emphasized, the way she read certain sentences was not the way, and I've read this book a lot of times, so I'm pretty familiar with it, but, and maybe that was one of the problems. But I noticed that, like, she would put the emphasis on the wrong thing, which totally, or not the wrong thing, but on a thing that I hadn't emphasized when I was reading it. And so it just felt a little off to me. Now, I think it was a variety of things. I'm sure it was just partially I didn't gel with maybe her style. I don't know, because I know I have a friend that loves this book and really likes this narrator that does it. It's Julie Bond, and her voice was great. I mean, she did a really good job. I kept going, wait, that's not the right vibe to get for this section. That wasn't what I thought she was going for. So this was a little bit odd. Still good, but a little bit odd. Now, this I also listened to. This is Wild Mountain Thyme, another Rosamunde Pilcher, one of her little books. And I'll show you all of these, because I own all of these books, but I did listen to all of these on audio. I love these little paperbacks of hers. These are pretty typical romances with a horrible man that you just know, the female character is going to realize is not the man for her, and she's going to go for the good guy. This one is exactly the same. And I love it. I love it. I actually listened to about half of this one, and then I got home and I read the other half in this actual book, which was a lot of fun. I own all of these small paperbacks in these early books of hers. I think these are from the 80s. 78. So yeah, so these are from the 70s. And I love them. They're not all great. They're not really as well written. They're not as chunky. They're not as in-depth as her bigger books, but they're still really fun reads. Then I also listened to 2 Miss Read books. My library only has these 2, so sadly I won't be able to listen to any more of them. This is The School at Thrush Green and Battles at Thrush Green, 2 of my favorites. I'm glad they had these 2 because these are 2 of my favorites. I love the school teachers. This is the one where they retire and move to Barton, Barton by Sea, Barton on the Sea. And I love it. I love the characters. Yeah, this is one of my favorite series, and it was really, really fun to listen to them on audio. But sadly, my library doesn't have any more of these, so I won't be able to listen to any more. And I didn't have any problems with the narrator on any of these. And then lastly, on audiobook, I listened to The Secret Garden. This is a beautiful Barnes and Noble special edition. Isn't this pretty? I love this. I loved this book. I've read it before. This book's got beautiful illustrations, and I loved this book. I loved listening to it on audio. It was a wonderful experience. Really liked the narrator. So this was a wonderful, wonderful listen. All right, so those are my 5 audiobooks. And actually, I had very good intentions to do a ton of middle grade reading this month or in March, but this is the only middle grade book that I ended up reading. Everything else, so I had the 4 other audiobooks, this audiobook for middle grade March, this was the group read. Everything else that I read was mysteries. I really just went wholeheartedly into the mysteries in March. Probably because I was already into 2 mystery series that I really wanted to continue with. So I read 2 more Cat Who mysteries. The Cat Who Ate Danish Modern, which is another one of my favorites. These early Cat Who books are, they are, a little chauvinistic, definitely of their time, but they're just so much fun. I love them. So I read The Cat Who Ate Danish Modern and The Cat Who Turned On and Off. Those are going in order. That was number 3 and 4 of the series, or 4 and 5. I don't know. So those were both 2 really good reads. And then I read 2 more of the Gregor Demarkian series, which were written back in the 90s. They are such a time capsule of the 90s for me, which might be one of the reasons why I love them so much, but they're very character driven. It's a group of characters. It's an ex-FBI agent. His wife died. He moved to a house, like a condo apartment on Kavanaugh Street, and there's a whole cast of characters on Kavanaugh Street, and usually the mysteries are set in different areas, and they're set generally around holiday periods. So I read 2 more of those, Festival of Deaths and Bleeding Hearts. Bleeding Hearts, I think might be my favorite one so far because it was actually set on Kavanaugh Street, and the murder happened there, and so you get the full cast of characters that live in his building, and a couple of the side characters just have really wonderful character arcs in this one that I absolutely loved. So that was a lot of fun. I'm starting the next one. I haven't started it yet, but I will keep going with this series. Let's see. Oh, and then I also read, I talked about it a little bit, The Franchise Affair by Josephine Tay. Really enjoyed that. And then lastly, I read The Hangman's Row Inquiry by Ann Purser. I talked about Ann Purser in a I talked about it in a relatively recent video. I don't remember which one. But she's also written a bunch of cozy English village mystery series with Lois, a Lois Mead, a cleaning lady who goes around the village and solves mysteries, which I love. This is also a series, and it stars Ivy Beasley, who is a old spinster. She and her, they did talk about how old she was, but some of the ages in this book were a little bit odd. I couldn't quite place how old everybody was. But Ivy Beasley is a spinster. She lives in a retirement home. She's bored. Someone moves into town and they decide to solve a murder together. And I loved it. I loved Ivy. She's a little snarky, a little abrupt, very upfront. She doesn't mince words at all. And I thought she was a wonderful character. I really enjoyed it. The mystery in that one, it's not spectacular. And it has that stupid ending where, the crazy murderer holds people hostage with a gun. And I'm just like, oh, we can do better than this, people. We can do better than this. But it was still really, really fun. I will definitely continue with that series. So overall, let's see, that was 6 ebooks. So I read all of these electronically from my library. And I did 5 audiobooks, which were also a ton of fun. So that was it for me for March. It was a really fun reading month. I loved reading so many mysteries. I love March Mystery Madness, and yeah, I just had a really fun time reading all of these mysteries. So, anyway, I'd love to hear what you read in March. If you had a fun reading month too, and I will talk to you later.